Hi, hi everyone, and welcome to BNB Hack Abu Dhabi. My name is Matush. I'm protocol engineer at BNB Chain, and I'll be hosting today's kickoff session. I'm joined by Vlad from our business development team, and together we will walk you through everything you need to know before hackathon starts. So this event is happening on December 5th and 6th, uh, and it's all about building learning and showcasing your ideas. Um, we are excited to see you come up with. So let's drive and let's get it together. I will start with some technical introduction to BNB Chain. Our main mission is to provide infrastructure that's available to everyone, and we want to get first billion Web3 users to our ecosystem. And everything what we do on tech team is to be able to make this happen. Maybe not everyone is aware, but we have BNB ecosystem or BNB chain actually consists out of three chains. The main chain or the most famous one is DBSC or BNB Smart Chain. These are EVM compatible L1. Then we have also OPBNB, that's layer 2, also fully EVM compatible. And we have BNB Greenfield, that's decentralized storage network that's also available to you. All these networks use only one token, and that's BNB. And everything here is available for you to build on. Here is an example. How can you deploy or reuse our whole ecosystem? So basically, you can deploy your whole app to our decentralized storage Greenfield. You can execute the logic of your DApp either in our BSC EVM or OPBNB EVM. And also you can check if your app requires a lot of storage. You can also cross check reuse the storage of our Greenfield. And all this is available to you to build on. Now I will go to some technical details because not many people are aware we have like L2 and why you should use our L2 if available. So as I mentioned earlier, both of our chain, BSC Smart Chain and OPBNB, are using the same token. It's a BNB. You see the throughput or on our BNB OPBNB chain, our L2, it's way much higher than on our L1. And gas fees are like 100x lower. So anyone who is planning to build any kind of high frequency trading or any kind of app, game app or something like that that requires super high transaction with very low fees, the main chain to deploy should be OPBNB. For anyone who is more interested in super low finality and more decentralization, that it should choose the BSC chain. That's kind of the main differences that those chains are having. Yeah. Here are some interesting links for you for anyone who will be participating in our hackathon. I will start with two most important ones in the top. Those are links to our faucets, as you probably will need some test BNB to be able to deploy or like sorry, or play with your app on our testnets. Then there is documentation links to OPBNB, how the whole thing works, how can you bridge between OPBNB and the main BSC chain, and of course Explorer. Same goes for our Greenfield decentralized storage, and also developer guide for our BSC chain. As everything is EVM compatible, both OpenBNB and BSC chain, there is not much differences like using SDKs and so on if you use other EMV compatible chains. This is kind of everything from technical, so I will now give word to the Vlad.
So yeah, hey everyone, thanks Madhush for this presentation. In regards to speaking about non-technical side of things, we're going to cover a few things now, and we're going to start with the most important part, which is timeline. So basically, we are divided our hackathons for kind of like a three parts overall. So the part is one, which is happening from November 24th until November 27th, is what we're calling pre-hackathon. So it's basically a combination of live sessions covering like the tracks and real examples, where we're basically telling for you, for the upcoming hackathon participants, what exactly we're expecting from you, what kind of examples we want to see, and what kind of solutions we would be really looking forward from this hackathon. And another thing which we're covering here is kind of like a we're gonna give you advices or some sort of build guidance, so how you can find a clear direction before hacking. It's covering like how to find an initial idea, or for example, how to implement specific feature or which infrastructure of BNB chain. It's either like, what should I use, BSC, or should I use OP for my application? That's what we're covering here from November 24th until November 27th. And the most exciting part, which is going to happen on site into 42 Abu Dhabi coding school, which is like the most prestigious school and in Abu Dhabi and in UAE in general. It's going to happening like already the on-site hackathon day one. So in day one, what we're doing all the kind of like check-in, opening ceremony where our marketing people going to present, our business development people is also going to present, and we're going to also have some panel discussions with our guests. And in regards of the hacking, it's also going to start on day one after all this kind of like check-ins and opening ceremony, which is the same submission also will begin in Abu Dhabi, but it's not going to be a final submission day. So speaking about final submission day, it's going to be December 6th. It's where all the hacking continues at the morning, and then later down the line, we're going to have a final submissions. It's going to be, I think, something more closer to the afternoon. So after you submit all of your projects, we're going to select the teams who is doing a demo, and then respectively, we're going to do winner announcements of top teams who won their prizes. If we can go to the next slide, we're going to see exactly here the exact prize pools. So it's kind of like what you guys competing for. So here we have a representation of the prize pools. For a first place, we have $5,000. For a second one, we have 3K. And for a third place, we have 2K accordingly. And it's not the most important thing. Another exciting part, which is you receive as a winners, is three things. One is you receive $50,000 in Kickstart ecosystem support. It's basically a funds you can take and you can integrate it either into your cloud services or some audit resources. So basically, that's everything what you need to go from your MVP of the product until the actual your first, I would say, like 1,000 users. Secondly, can we go back to the another? Yeah, thank you. Secondly, what you're receiving a fast track interviews for the MVB program. So just for a context, MVB it's a program which is BNB Chain, CoinMarketCap, and Easy Labs are doing together, which is now been called as Easy Residency. It's where builders are joining this program, and it's kind of YC combinator for crypto, where you receive a funding, you receive useful advices for your go-to-market, how to launch your tokenomics, how to find initial investments, and this kind of stuff. And thirdly, the last point here is you can get an access to potential investment from directly BNB chain through our 1 billion builder fund, which we launched also in October this year. We can go for the next slide. Yep. So in regards to what we're expecting from you and what kind of tracks we're offering, few options is available here. You can see them on my screen, but I'm just going to quickly go over some of them, the most exciting, at least for my opinion. So I guess in the current narrative of the crypto market, the things which is always going to work is going to be trading things. It's something which is covered, for example, not even something complex solution as a perp but something more interesting one, for example, like a trading terminal with like unique use cases. Or we can also speak something about DeFi. DeFi is also the thing, right? It's always going to be on a market. So it's something covering like lendings, composable liquidity, yield aggregation, looping aggregation, this kind of stuff. And thirdly, the most interesting and unique, I think, here for the specific region is we're trying to reflect UAE priorities. So it's basically anything what you believe it's covering regional opportunities or unique local trends. It's also an amazing idea. We would be happy to see it. And speaking directly here on the next slide, we can see that we prepared specific three kind of regional impact tracks. And speaking here, it's something similar to what we had on our previous slide, but it's more directed and more specifically focused on the region which we're doing a hackathon. So for example, this one we're currently doing in UAE, specifically into Abu Dhabi. So we believe it's like three aspects is super important and it's going to be interesting to see. First one is Web3 and luxury, because we all know UAE is like a famous for some luxury lifestyle and this kind of thing. So something like on-chain verification of the luxury items or ownerships or some sort of like tokenization of your like bags, watches, this kind of stuff. Secondly, it's tourism and travel innovation. Basically, we all know that traveling bookings and especially like tickets is a huge problem. So anything which solution can prevent like a scams or making UA trips more easier, interesting, or accessible, we will be super happy to see it as well. And thirdly, real estate and RWA. So basically, starting from managing short-term rentals until like something which is gonna make your experience again easier or seamless, we're gonna be happy to see it as well. Going for the next slide, we will be able to see here like the wish list. You can also gonna be available to find it on our demo day directly, but it's kind of a wish list of the solutions which we truly believe it's going to change the next, I would say, narrative, or it's going to adjust perfectly into the narrative. So it's again, it's DeFi applications, but it's already something which is integrated AI. So few ideas here. It's either should be innovative lending or borrowing protocols, something kind of like a yield aggregation systems, or the personal which I'm most excited for, it's kind of AI integration for your portfolio automation, strategy review, and curator systems. I want to dive a little bit deeper into this one and specifically what we're expecting. Imagining you have a portfolio which you're managing into DeFi protocols. For example, you're implementing something like your positions into Listedao, into Pendle, or into Venus. So we want to see something as AI agent or at least like a dashboard, which is going to suggest you, for example, here's your portfolio is definitely down performing the current trend, and you can make these changes so you would receive much higher APY. Secondly, into our wish list is the category of privacy protections for BNB Chain. Privacy is a huge narrative for 2025 and I think 2026 upcoming year. So anything which relies on into private transactions or affordability or user experience for private solutions as well, we'll be super happy to see it. And another two, which from my opinion, I'm personally excited for, and I have a time to present now, it's we all know prediction markets is a huge thing. So basically, anything relates to prediction markets, it's either can be prediction market itself or some infrastructure for these prediction markets. We would be super amazing to see it as well. And another one, which is the last thing here, you can find on the right table, the last row, it's yield discovery and risk analytics. It's something similar what we had for first point, but it's more without AI. Like it's without AI, so it's kind of just automated discovery of the yield opportunities. Because the current user problem is when the user is coming on BNB chain and he wants to farm some yield or just to understand how actual lending protocols are working, he is wondering what should I start with. And the user, he doesn't understand what kind of API I'm going to get. So the solution for this, it's either should be like a dashboard or a protocol itself, which is gonna aggregate the layers of the protocols. For example, it can take a data from what's the Pendle PT current yield at. It can see what the collateral it can be used on list DAO, and it should combine the PT yield rate and the borrow rate on the list DAO for the collateral, and it can basically implement as looping strategies, which is going to cover, again, PT yield, borrow rate on list DAO. So it would be whole profitable loop into DeFi using Pendle, list DAO, and something else. For example, for the ideas, you can use Aster USDF also to mint Aster USDF. It's going to yield on for you, and you can use it as a collateral on list DAO as well. Hopefully that all makes sense here. Coming back for a next slide, it's going to be already for Matush. So Matush, giving mic to you. Or I can take this one as well, if you want.
You take this one and next one is me, sir.
Okay. So in regards to what we're doing as a starter pack is three things here. First one is you can schedule your team meetings. So basically, if your team is spread across different time zones, you can use tools like when to meet to quickly find a meeting link that works for everyone. Secondly, we're doing a pre-hackathon checklist. It's kind of where you're bringing multiple contexts so your team can compare, refine, and finalize an idea during feedback sessions. And thirdly, it's pre-issued testnet BNBs. When you're going to develop it, you all will be needed to use testnet tokens because you want to test your transactions, that everything is working fine and smoothly. So each team member is going to get 0.3 test BNBs by sharing your hackathon status on X. You can simply tag BNB Chain account, BNB Chain devs account, and Lucas as well, who is our solution architect. And you can use hashtag BNB hack and just include your wallet, and we're going to be able to send you this all free BNB. But besides that, you can also use your faucets if you need it, for example, urgently or something. In regards to the next slide is what we will.
Okay, go ahead.
Giving mic to you. You can take this one.
Okay, so now let's look at the judging criteria or what we will evaluate. So we will start with design and usability, technical implementation and code quality, BNB chain integration and ecosystem fit, innovation and creativity, and sustainability and market potential. I will go for each of those points and slightly do some introduction we are looking for there. Sorry. So design and usability. That's the first judging criteria. So it's all about how your project feels to the users. So what we are looking for is to have like clear diagrams and some MD files, whatever that can show interactions with the users. Then we are looking also for diagrams showing like whole system architecture and all this an interaction between all the components, and if possible also some text description about the processes and design decisions behind it. Second point is the technical implementation. That's very important, especially to me coming from the tech team. So what we are or judges are evaluating here is if your GitHub repo is public and it has like proper license that's either MIT, Apache, GPL, whatever. It needs to be clear stated because you can lose points on that. More open source your project is, the better to fit in our ecosystem. If you allow forks or not, that's also very important. Next one is repository organization. This is very, very important because judges will go over your code, and more clear your photo structure is, easier is to evaluate it. If it's very messy, judges usually don't have time to go over everything. You can really lose points on that. Of course, code quality, like naming, comments, anything that can make the judges' life more easier. Another thing is to deployability, or how to deploy. If there is like some scripts to help deploy all your app and everything like that, and all these kind of things are very, very important. Next thing is the integration and I'm sorry, and ecosystem fit. Uh, how your project well connects well to our current BNB chain. So if you deploy and verify your smart contract on BSC scan, we really put scores, a lot of scores on deployment links, and if the contract was verified, how the smart contract is integrated, what packages did you use uh, regarding connecting to BNB chain. Then overall integration. So what did you use to integrate with one of our three chains, Greenfield, OPBNB, or BSC? And what's important is to demonstrate the interaction. And finally, how project strengths BNB chain, if it's like clearly aligned with our use cases and so on. Next judging point, of course, is innovation and creativity. What makes your idea stand out? Uh, how you solving some real world problems? Um, if your idea is clear and so on. Technical novelty also very important. If it's something kind of unique or it's just a copycat or fork, this also affects judging criteria. And also using emerging tech, how you integrate AI to the blockchain. If you reuse L2, or if your app requires the use of L2 because of a high TPS, all these kind of all this integration that will be demonstrated in your app are very, very important to increase your total score. Uh, Next one, sustainability and market potential. Where you can show the long-term availability of your project. It's also very important. So I'm sorry, to identify real users groups and real pain point, shows your timing of your product makes sense, all these kind of things. If your business or token model makes sense, if actually you, if there is like logical economics or incentives behind it, potential adoption and growth plan, all these kind of things are very, very important. If the roadmap and potential partnerships are there or something like that. Also, what's really, really nice to have is to detail milestones for the future and deliverables. All these kind of things are giving you additional points, and judges very, very take, take this as important things. Uh, so yeah, winning projects. So what to say? If you fit all these points that I just mentioned, and you build for users, not for us, even or judges or anyone, this is very important to also make everything as open source as possible. I understand that some code you don't want to make it forkable or something like that, but we very, very, as we everything what we do at BNB Chain, it's open source. We very, very push hard on that. Integration with our infrastructure, deployment of the contracts that are live there, very important. Um, so no cloning ideas, just bringing new novel ideas or technical approaches to BNB chain, another very important point. And every submissions needs to contribute more to open source, scalable, and community-driven Web3. Yeah, that's kind of everything from me. If you want to connect with us, here is the connection to our social media. I'm not sure if Vlad wants to mention something in the end.
I just want to finalize all the presentation and firstly, Madhush, thank you so much for joining us. And for the community, guys, thank you so much for joining this live stream. It was a great pleasure to present it here. Hopefully, Madhush, you also enjoy your presentation. And just a note for everyone, guys, we're going to be super happy to see you for our Abu Dhabi hackathon or for the other locations which we're going to do for this hackathon series. Thank you so much for joining this live stream.
Thank you.